What's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up, legendary, the greatest marketing show on earth. And my friends, are you in for a treat today? You are in for a wonderful treat today as we bring out somebody who is a wonderful example of what's possible and is a wonderful communicator about what this journey is like and what it takes to achieve success, and somebody who had a extremely successful and a career that most people strive for previous to this. She was and still is a doctor of audiology. This is her third time on Wake Up Legendary. So she has continued to come back and share with us her journey so we can get an update of it. And so, as I bring her out here in just a moment, realize that it's not just folks who are poor, in dead end jobs, who have absolutely nothing going for them in their lives, who are getting into learning these skills and starting online marketing businesses. It's people who have done all the right things. They've got the good grades, they got the degrees, they got the wonderful jobs, and there was something that was missing. In each case, it's different. In Gwen's case today, you're going to hear from her exactly what was missing for her and what she's striving for here with this next chapter of her life. With that being said, Gwen, my friend, welcome back for the third time.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. It's my pleasure. It's my honor. Where are you calling in from? Remind us where you live and where you're from.
I am from the East Coast of New Hampshire, the Northeast Coast, and I'm in northeast of the United States, and I'm in New Hampshire.
You're in New Hampshire, and that's also where you were a practicing doctor and made this transition. So right there in New Hampshire. Okay. Well, it's good to see you again. Last time we hung out was at one of our masterminds not too long ago. Looking forward to seeing you again. This is a nice treat to be able to check in here, just here on the show. What's it like to be back here for the third time and this becoming actually, you've got a career here that you're doing now. What is it like to go from just check in here real quick, what you used to do to what you're doing now?
I just got chills when you said that. You've got a career here. And I think that is the biggest defining factor or what differentiates this for people. People come in thinking like, I'm just going to figure out how to, make some money online, versus really wanting to dig in and learn all the things and make it your career. It feels exciting. It feels like I'm just getting started. It feels like I'm just getting started.
Yeah. And I can relate to that. I think you're right. A lot of people come into this with some expectation that they're going to have a quick hit of something. It's going to be a quick, injection of maybe cash or relief into, almost like how the government did with our stimulus, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of like a stimulus injection into your life. Okay, now I've got some breathing room. And instead, what's really possible here is not just something that's short term, but something that is long term, that can, of course, be an injection of relief, but also can be much more than what you ever imagined, turn into a real career, turn into more money, turn into more opportunity, turn into more influence than you could have ever imagined. Do you think if you would have set goals at the beginning and really tried to say, yeah, I'll sign up for that right now, do you think you would have shortchanged yourself?
Probably. I think it's so interesting because I think sometimes it's too hard to look that far down the road.
Yeah.
It's much easier to be like, okay, it's just the next step, like just the next step. And I think if you keep doing that, you end up surprising yourself because you're like, holy crap, that next step was like a giant leap, Didn't know I could make it.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. We do live life in, okay, just got to get through this weekend, got to get through this month, got to just make this next bill. And I guess it doesn't really matter where you're at in life, what your career is. It seems like everybody would think, well, you are a doctor, you must have had it all figured out and all going on and all totally feeling secure. And it sounds like, and of course, listening to your story, you even had some parts of your life that were like that. I'm sure not all of them, but talk to us a little bit about, take us back to when you were becoming open to this, looking for what was missing from that previous career that you now realize and have more insight into and probably able to articulate a little bit better?
Yeah. What was missing from my career? First of all, I got into this career to help people, and quickly realized that I was a number. Like I was a number in the cog in the system. Like I was just another worker, just coming to work and doing the thing, and never really felt like I was valued as a person. I was valued as an employee. And so I changed my job my first couple years out of grad school. I tried working in a hospital, and then that didn't feel right. And I tried working in a private practice, and then that didn't feel right. And I landed in this third place that on the outside would have seemed like everyone's dream job. Had my own office, had my own secretary. It was just me and an ENT. I didn't have to do marketing. The patients were coming in, like dream job on paper. And then that is when my boss reduced my salary without any warning and without any real reason, except for the fact that he just didn't want to pay me that anymore and didn't feel like other audiologists in the area were making that money. And so what was missing from my job was me valuing myself, was me realizing my worth, and was the freedom to figure out who I was. I feel like I was just getting up, going to work, doing my job, going home. And the stress of having a workplace that is not conducive to like happiness. And, there aren't very many workplaces that I've heard, at least from friends and family, like that are like that are like, I really want to go to work today. Like my job is so fantastic. Like it's not usually like that. And it certainly wasn't like that. Not that I am not grateful for the opportunity, but I was able to see what I valued. And then I was able to see that I wasn't able to create a life that reflected my values if I stayed in that job.
Yeah. It's an inside job for so many of us. And when we get out of survival mode financially, and as a doctor, you're able to at least earn a living in which you're not, I would assume, living paycheck to paycheck. However, once those first needs, not as much as other people, I would think.
Yeah.
You've also got probably a massive mountain of student loans and so forth to pay on. My point is that thinking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, can't really get to the next need until you meet the first need. And at least for the most part, I also know that your husband is a firefighter, if I remember correctly. You guys had a roof over your head, and you were at least meeting your financial needs for the most part. What I hear you talking about is not meeting that need for fulfillment and happiness and community connection amongst your fellow coworkers with your boss and employer. And that was a major piece that was missing for you. Now, it's not to say that you don't welcome more money into your life, but I'm hearing those emotional and kind of mental and spiritual needs not being met. What about time?
Yeah.
It was that also something that played a part in your restlessness,
Yeah.
lack
I,
thereof of time with your kids, family?
for sure. When my husband decided at 30 years old that he wanted to become a firefighter, he was a union carpenter. Union carpenters make great money, but he didn't want to do that anymore. He wanted to become a firefighter. And that meant for us that his pay was going to be reduced about 50%. And at that time, we looked at my pay and we said, you know what? It's not a big deal. Like, we can handle this. I want you to go do the thing that you want to do.
Mhm.
So we did that. And then we had children. And I think having children and then also seeing my husband do a job that he really, really loved, didn't care what he got paid, really. That's when that time piece starts to really kick in. You know, you realize I'm getting up before the sun's up and I'm going to bed and it's dark and I've got no time to myself. I've got no time to spend with my kids. I'm wishing for a snow day on a Monday so that I don't have to go into work. Like, time was probably one of the biggest factors in me starting to look in the digital space to see, like, how can I get more time back? I just want to be the person that is at the gym at 9 o'clock in the morning. Like, how do they do that? That's all I could imagine. How do they do that? Like, are they nurses? I just want to go to the gym when I want to go,
What
which
do
is
you
silly.
What a unique little goal. What a unique little, you know, just sign of desire, wish, goal. It's not always $1 million. It's, I want to be at the gym whenever I want to go and have the freedom to be able to do so.
Mhm.
So take us, one of the things that I thought was kind of funny about your story and when you were talking at our recent mastermind was that, now you are at home, you're chopping a lot of wood. You're in charge of, keeping that fire burning throughout the day. But you love it. Talk to us a little bit about what life is like now
Mm.
and what are some of the things that you love about what digital marketing allows you to do and be.
Yeah. Um, so we live in New Hampshire where it's cold in the winter, and we have this unique outdoor wood boiler. It heats our water with fire outside. And so I can't remember how many cords of wood we go through, but if you're watching and you know cords of wood, it's somewhere between 11 and 18 cords of wood in a winter, which is like 2 grapple loads of logs being delivered to my house in the spring.
Cords, grapples, I mean, holy sweet.
It's almost unimaginable. I will not lie, it is not my favorite thing to do. However, it has to be done. And prior to this year, my husband wasn't home. He was working as a firefighter and also as a carpenter in his own business because we had to.
Mhm.
I couldn't just go out and get a 9 to 5, right? That would be an easy solution. I could have go out and find any job hiring. Like, I drive by Wendy's and it's hiring right now. I could have gone to do that. But having kids and having a firefighter husband who has a schedule that is not plannable made it pretty much impossible to do that. So anyway, my spring and my summer look like getting the wood ready for the winter, which is splitting and chopping and stacking all this wood. And I remember when I started this, it was May 22nd, 2023. We had our first delivery of wood and I had just started chopping it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take people on the journey with me. I want them to see what's possible. I want them to see what goals I'm working towards, because one of my goals is to not have to spend my entire summer splitting all that wood. And that means money. It just means having more money to be able to pay someone to do it for me.
Mhm.
And so when I started, that was my goal. And I do enjoy being outside. I do enjoy the workout. So I like that I have the time to do it. But before, it felt like a chore, and now it feels like I get to.
Mm. Mm.
I get to.
Wow. That's really, really interesting. And many of your initial videos when you started creating content were showing you chopping wood, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. This is what I'm doing every day. I might as well take a video and use it as B-roll.
So a lot of people are wondering, I mean, what do and I was looking at your Instagram here just a moment ago, and you've actually got a video just recently that you shared. I don't know, just a very short time ago, right here. It looks like it's about the fourth video that you've. So, is that? I mean, it looks like you've also got a cutter there too. Is that an upgrade?
Yes. So the first
Holy
year that
crap! Look at all that wood.
it's a lot of wood. Yeah. So the first year that we lived here, we bought a Home Depot wood splitter. And if you've ever purchased a Home Depot tool, you know that it might not be. They're cheap, and they're cheap for a reason. So splitting all that wood broke that splitter, and we had to get a new splitter. It was something we couldn't have afforded before. It was just a mess the year before that. And so that splitter was a new purchase. It makes my job that much easier. But we couldn't have been able to afford that the prior year.
Turquoise says, "Woman, you are dynamic. You are dynamic. Isn't she, friends? I mean, Melody says, wood is no joke, lady."
It's no joke.
Sean Sorrento says, "I don't think people truly understand the power of B-roll."
Yes.
And so let's talk a little bit about that. We're going to, this is Gwen's third time on the show. So there's a few episodes where we dig a little bit deeper into her origin story and what it's like for her and what it was like for her. But let's fast forward into, how did you grow? How did you grow your marketing? I mean, you may have been a doctor in wherever your previous life was, but when you come onto the online marketing world, there are people rolling out of trailer parks that have more influence than most doctors. Your credentials, your life experience, how many degrees you got, all that stuff is not irrelevant, but it's not the most relevant thing on the internet. It truly is a very level playing field. So I want everybody to lean in and understand that people from all walks of life are coming into this world. And when you get here, the playing field is level. So put your seatbelt on and get ready to go to work. It's going to be a wild ride. And it's not the course or any of the education that's going to do it for you. As somebody said last week, the course doesn't work. You work, right? You don't just buy a course and then suddenly, where's my money at? So talk to us about how you created a story. How did you create engagement? How did you pick the niche that you're in and start talking about it before you had any success or much knowledge about digital marketing?
Yeah. Well, for the past eight years, I had been trying to grow multiple different online businesses, from network marketing to coaching to retreats, and it wasn't growing. I had been trying to use social media, trying, right? And it wasn't going anywhere. And what coming into Legendary helped me understand is the importance of the story. And I just wasn't doing a good job prior to that. And now that I understood it, I understood that people, number one, are nosy. They want to know what kind of coffee you drink, how you take your coffee, where you like to shop for food, where'd you get that outfit? People just want to know about you. And I think the reason why people want to know about you is because they want to know that you are like them and they are like you. And so therefore you're alike. And if she can do this, I can do this. So I started to go back into my mind of who was I before I found this? Who was I before I found this education that has helped me understand that? And then look at what I was saying, what problems was I having, what words was I using, and what I just felt like I needed in order to get to that next step. And so what I started to do is I started to tell my story. This is who I am. I'm a mom. My husband's a firefighter. These are how I spend my days, stacking and splitting wood. This is just what I'm doing. Oh, but also at the same time, I'm taking an hour or two a day to learn some skills that are going to set me on the path to build a profitable business. I hadn't made any money yet. I was just going along, and taking people on the journey with me. And I think that's what people are so afraid of. I had an aunt tell me when I first started in the online space and network marketing in 2015, she said, "Oh, you just share so much online. Like, don't you just get so sick of just sharing yourself online?" And at that time, I took offense to that because I was new in the space. And I'm like, oh, are other people thinking that? Am I just like, is it too much? But now I realize, like, if you don't share your story, if you don't share all these little nuances and the behind the scenes and the reasons why you're here, people just don't get a connection to you. They don't feel like they want to follow your journey. And people reach out to me and they say, I've been following you since you first started. I can't believe where you are since then. And so people do follow that. Even if they don't even want to be a part of what you're doing, they still follow you just to see, is it going to work? Is she going to follow through? And some people wait a year or 2 years before deciding, okay, she's giving me enough proof now. Like, I should start. It's like social proof.
Totally.
Yeah.
Gail says, "Oh, that lovely aunt we all have."
Yeah.
And it's so true. One comment at the beginning from somebody who's got influence in our life, meaning that we have some sort of emotional tie to them. And throughout our whole life, their words may have been powerful. An aunt, an uncle, a family friend, a friend of your mother's, right? Somebody in your social circle who's not really a friend, they're just an acquaintance, but because they know you, their words for some reason hold weight. And those little passive aggressive comments, those little sneaky little they nice criticisms, because people criticize you in a nice way because they don't want to come right out and say, you're so annoying. Like, I mean, why do you see yourself? They go, oh my God, Gwen, you share so much of yourself. I don't really know how you do it. It's just like that kind of like
condescending
in such a nice way. It's like a paper cut. You don't even realize that you're cut. You're like, oh my God, am I bleeding? Ow, did that hurt? Oh, that did hurt, right? And so what other hurdles, limiting beliefs, who else did you need to tune out in the beginning, and even still to this day, in order to launch and keep going and keep sharing?
Yeah. Who did I need to tune out? Everybody. I literally shut down my social media. I started a brand new account, this one, Financially Free with Gwen, and I shut down everything else. I wasn't scrolling anymore. I wasn't watching anyone else. I had been following coaches who were making millions of dollars a year in the space and wondering why I wasn't there because I was doing all the same things. I had been following, network marketers. I mean, everybody who was killing it. And so my feed was just full of people killing it. And here I wasn't killing it. I had to turn it off. I had to literally stop following other people in general and just put my blinders on and just go. Like a horse. I just put my blinders on and went.
Yeah. That's such a, God, friends, are you hearing that? I mean, I have heard this so many times, that from super successful marketers who started from zero and finally had a breakthrough, was that I really needed to tune everybody out. I really needed to unfollow. I needed to go on an unfollowing spree. It wasn't just tuning out friends and family and setting new boundaries in my personal life. It was also, I needed to clean up the voices that and the people I was listening to and watching on the internet, because I was falling victim to comparisonitis. And any little piece of energy that I gave away of feeling like on my pity pot or down on myself or shaming myself, that was energy that was really valuable that I was just giving away and not getting any ROI on. Does that feel like it fits?
100%. 100%.
Yeah, I've heard that from so many people. I just wonder how many of you listening need to really get serious about building your fortress,
Mm.
building your real fortress. I mean, how are you protecting your eyes and your ears? These four holes right here, are like so important, and we don't do anything. We protect our other parts of our body, but
Yeah.
these right here, man. I mean, we just let anything and everything come into them, and I'm trying to keep this PG, but we gotta really, we have to really, I mean, who is violating you? Who are you allowing to violate you through your eyes and through your ears? It's almost like we need to protect ourselves from being violated, by other people's, messages and their successes or their, it's almost like we allow it's like we stay in this kind of abusive relationship, and we really have to just go,
Yeah.
stop, shut it down. But it's so insidious because it doesn't feel like that. It's like, well, I'm just following other successful people. But are you really? Are you being inspired, or are you stuck in comparisonitis?
Mm-hmm.
Every time you watch one of their videos, do you feel uplifted, or are you starting to get bitter and jealous?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this is honest talk that you have, and this is what it's called, doing what's best for you.
Yeah.
Why is that so hard for us to do sometimes?
Because of social media. I mean, if you get together with your friends, you're like, oh, did you see so and so went to such and such a place? I'm like, no, I didn't see. I don't follow them on social media anymore, because that's the conversation. Did you see so and so did this? Did you see this person did this? And then you're not in anymore, right? You're not like in the in crowd anymore, and that's very hard to do. You have to really understand your values and what you value more, and then put your path towards those goals and let go of the other things, because it's going to be hard. You're going to get pushback. You're going to get people, giving you their opinion. And at the end of the day, they always say, like, other people don't pay your bills. You pay your bills. You got to do what works for you.
And my friends, I'm going to show you something here to let you know that I can relate. See, this is my little old Instagram profile over here. And look at how many people I'm following. That's not because I just want to look cool. That's also because I can get on my Instagram feed and I can do the same exact thing that Gwen's talking about, that I'm talking about. And the reason why I can talk about it is because I'm also a human being who can relate, who, it doesn't matter how successful you get. There's always somebody else out there who's doing it better, that I could look at them and say, oh, why try? It's the reason why I talk about on this show every day, the comparisonitis and the distraction, the shiny objects, all the different things, is because I've been battling this for 14 years in this business. It's been, and it's not just from friends and family. It was also like all of the toxicity back in every time like elections come around. The last time there was the election, it was so toxic, and so many friends and family and people on Facebook that I knew were saying all kinds of crazy shit. And I literally was starting to hate people that I knew I loved, right? And so I literally, every time I went on Facebook, just instead of scrolling like I normally would, I would scroll and just unfollow people. I would just go on an unfollowing spree. And so I didn't unfriend them. But I would unfollow them. So I didn't see their posts. So I didn't have that coming into my life. I realized, I think at a certain point in my career, that when I get up and check my email and check social media, and I'm checking what everybody else's agenda for me is that day before I'm actually checking into what is my agenda for me that day. Does that resonate?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, you're letting other people tell you how your day is going to go.
And what I should be focused on. what I should be watching, what I should be, email's another place. And I'd like to talk to you a little bit about email from a marketing standpoint. Right now, we're just talking about how do I keep my focus? How do I not allow myself to get distracted with other people's success or other people's voices? Let's shift a little bit into another part of your marketing. We talked a little bit about you creating content. The thing I love about social media is that we can go down and look at your older posts. I mean, if anybody wants to look at some of those old wood chopping videos, they can certainly find them. But now you've got an audience. You've earned an incredible amount of money, at least the money that I know that you've earned from sharing and from tracking some of your results here just as an affiliate of Legendary. But let's talk about some of the ways that people may not realize that you're creating success. Of course, creating great content is one piece. Having a marketing funnel is another piece. Being consistent, creating content every day, always trying to get better. But email. Talk to us a little bit about email marketing and how that has played a part in your success or lack thereof at the beginning. How have you evolved your email marketing, and what could you share with us that might be helpful for somebody who's not really paying much attention to their email marketing?
Yeah, email marketing wasn't something I heard it all. Like, you don't own anything but your email list. You don't own your social media. It can go away tomorrow. The only thing you own is your email list. And so I think all these parts are like puzzle pieces to building something that is valuable and also profitable at the same time, and something that you can be proud of. And when I started exploring my voice on social media, I also started to understand how to explore my voice in email. And I do the same thing in my email that I do in my social media. When someone opts into my email, I know how people feel about email. I know people are like, oh my God, another email. I don't want another email in my inbox. And it's so easy to unsubscribe. So I want to make sure that when I send emails, that people feel, number one, a connection to me, that it's like a human on the other side. And number two, my emails are not just a place to spew a million different affiliate links. And I want people to know that from the beginning, because once someone starts to feel like the only reason why they're on your email list is to sell them something, they are gone. They're going to unsubscribe. The same thing with social media, right? Same thing with creating content. So what I started to do is I started to, and I learned this in the blueprints, understand how to take people on a journey. I would, my emails, I'm like trying to figure out, where do I start? Like, what's the best place to start for someone new? I literally took the opportunity in my email to tell my story again. But this time I was kind of shortening it up a little bit. Like, here's a little synopsis of where I was and what I didn't like. Stay tuned for my email tomorrow where I tell you this. And that's like another highlight to what is my story. So it's like a chain of events. Number one, not only is that getting someone to read more of my emails, but number two, I ask questions in my emails and I engage with the person who's there. I want them to reply to me. I ask them, hey, did you get this email? Just shoot me a reply so I can know that it landed in your inbox. I'm setting up this feeling of connection and community in my email. And that takes a little bit of figuring out. I didn't do that from day one. Day one, I plugged in some emails and I just got it going and I set it off. But as soon as I could kind of take a breath and come back, I came back to my emails and said, okay, how can I make these a little better? How can I make them more connection? How can I make them more storytelling? And also make sure that what I'm bringing is value, not only in education, but also in tools. So just like you talk about like picks and shovels and buckets, what are the tools that I can give these people that will support them with the main reason why they got on my email list? And I think understanding that connection has really helped me create good emails, like get better at copywriting.
Yeah. And ultimately, that's all people want. They want to know, as you said before, what kind of coffee do you drink? Do you put cream and sugar? What kind of creamer do you use?
Yeah.
what do you eat organic? What kind of organic? Like all those little pieces of your life and of people's lives. The same thing is true with marketing. So if you were in the how to get your baby to go to sleep at night niche, right, the parenting and or relationship niche, then you would talk about your story of not being able to get, having your baby, being so excited, can't wait to bring him home. And then when he got home, he wouldn't sleep and you didn't sleep. And now your marriage started to have conflict. And now you were showing up late. You had to go back to work now. You were showing up late to work, all the things, all the misery, right? That's the story. And here's what happened. I discovered this method using a few simple, low to no cost tools that I bought online. And within 1 week, my baby was sleeping through the night. And over the course of the next 10 days via email and a few videos, I'm going to show you and teach you what I did. And I'm also going to introduce you to those same products and to those same strategies so you can use them in your life to find the peace and the happiness and get the sleep that you're looking for. See, the messaging and the strategy is interchangeable in multiple niches.
Yeah.
What Gwen is talking about is introducing people to the very things that you're using. Like, for example, did you know that it's much easier you may be having a hard time if you're in the online marketing niche getting started with video and recording on your phone? Did you know that when I started using a pop socket to hold the back of my phone, it became so much easier because now I could hold my phone with ease and it became an extension of my hand instead of awkwardly holding this big block and shaking and just not feeling comfortable. Now it literally feels like an extension of my hand. I'm going to, here's the case that I like. Here's the pop socket. You link out to it. That's just an example. There's better examples that will pay you higher commissions, such as recommending people to the funnel builders that you're using, recommending people to the autoresponders that you're using, recommending people to certain courses that you've taken. That's why so many people get hyped up about promoting legendary marketer courses, is because they got a lot of value from them. So you have an opportunity to be able to not only tell your story, but weave in all these products, the software, or no matter what your niche is, whatever it is that you can offer them as an affiliate, and simultaneously build streams of income while giving people what they want, which is those details. Well, what did you use? What did you buy? What was the thing that helped you? And I think that so often in email, but also in all of our marketing, we're afraid to sell. We're afraid to give people that call to action. We're afraid to send that email. We don't want to bother. We don't want to come off too salesy. And so talk to us a little bit about your mindset about that. What limiting beliefs did you have about selling, about bothering people with your emails? And what is something that you're doing now in terms of how you look at it that may help somebody else who doesn't consider themselves a salesperson and doesn't want to come off as bothering or being too aggressive?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is someone who opts into your email list is joining for a reason. Like they asked to be there, right? So they want more of what you promised them in the very beginning. So understanding that is the golden ticket. They want to be there. So now they want to be there. How do you keep them there? And that's value. But there is this mindset of like, oh my God, I just sent out an email last week. I sold something in that email. Oh my God, I'm sending another email and it has another link in that email. Is someone going to unfollow me because I'm selling all these things in this email? We get like so fixated on that. And instead, if we can pull back and be like, did my last email provide value in relation to the reason why someone got on my email list? Yes. Okay. Is this email providing value and a tip or a shortcut or something that's going to help them get a quick win for the very reason they joined my email list? Yes. Okay. You're doing exactly what they opted in for. So as soon as you start not doing that, that's when people leave your email list. That's when people don't want to be there anymore. and you've lost a connection.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, they're not looking particularly for friendship. They're
Yeah.
not looking for a pen pal. If they get on your email list, they're not looking for a pen pal.
Right.
They're looking for a solution. They're looking for you to point them in a certain direction.
Mhm.
They're looking for direction. They want calls to action. When you don't give them a call to action and tell them exactly when to start, and this is another thing that I have learned over the years, is to be so normal and specific with my calls to action. Like, for example, a lot of times in the beginning and end of the show, I say, hey, if you'd like a text message reminder for when we go live, we'll literally send you, and I'm describing it right now. This is what I do. I say, we'll literally send you a reminder, and I get out my phone just like I'm doing right now, and I show them, hey, look right here. This is the text. You just get a nice little link right there. You click the link, and it actually sends you right over to Facebook, so you can right over there. You don't even have to search for it, and we'll do that for you. Look at that. The interview just came up right on my Facebook app, just from that link. And so if you'd like that, to just one click, join the show every morning without having to search or, scramble around looking for passwords or anything like that, text WUL, the words or the letters WL, and type that right into the space where you would normally type your words at. See how specific I'm being and how normal I'm talking? And then text that word, WUL, to 813-296-8553. Of course, put that number right up where you would normally put somebody's number up. But see how specific I'm being? Because people are like, that extra detail is helpful to them. In your emails, if you give a call to action, if you were to say, and when you get over on that page, this is what's going to happen. You're going to watch a short video. Make sure you watch that entire thing, okay? Then you can scroll and review some of the details on the page, and make sure that you click the big green button that says start here, fill out your details, and I look forward to seeing you in the back office. I can't wait to hear all of your breakthroughs and takeaways. But those, because otherwise people are like, am I doing it right? Am I in the right place? And when you give them, so talk to us a little bit about your directness. I'm sure as a doctor, you were used to giving people prescriptions and instructions, but this, those skills don't always translate over. I mean, sometimes we just are deer in the headlights. So what have you learned about being specific in giving calls to action and the importance of them?
Yeah. People need to be told what to do. They just need and again, I did learn this in my field. So I used to fit hearing aids to people. And when you get hearing aids, it's a new technology, it's a new thing. You have all these pieces, you have batteries, you have plug-in, you have all these things. And it's overwhelming. If you've ever gone to a doctor's appointment, they say you hear 50% or you consume 50% of what the doctor said. So I just always remember that. They're only going to remember 50% of what I said. So how can I make sure they remember the rest? I'm going to give them explicit directions on exactly what to do. Just as a reminder, here's what you need to do. Here's the button. It's big. It's colored. You click on it. You can't miss it. Like, it's easy. How can you make this simple for someone to follow through with?
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody said, Sarah said, Gwen, I bought the blueprints and launched my business because of you. I wonder how many of you have been influenced or inspired by Gwen. Just drop a comment. I'd love to see it. How many of you have watched her videos out there? How many of you have come across her previous to meeting her on this show right now? I'd love to just see some of those comments. It's so true. They need to be told, and more than anything, friends, they want to be told. They want to be led by you. They're looking for, look at all this. Oh my gosh. Yes. Melissa says, me. Victoria says, I'm here thanks to Gwen. Michelle, me, love her content. Deborah, follow her. I love all of Gwen's tips. Inspired better in December.
Yay.
Carrie says she's amazing. Annie, me too. She got me started. Natalie, Yes, been inspired by Gwen on Instagram. Thank
Mm.
you. She captured me. Love Gwen's authenticity. I've been influenced by, I mean, they're just pouring in. Me too, but it's just there. We got hands going up. Dolly says me. Wait, oh my God, I'd have quit months ago if I hadn't seen her on my
Oh.
first week of Legendary. Team Gwen, bought the blueprints, and how does it, I mean, how does that feel? And they're just, that's just 10% of just the comments that have come in the last 30 seconds. How does that feel to be able to have that reach and that influence on people now?
Oh, it's overwhelming. And also, like, this is everything that I've ever wanted. I just wanted to give people their voice, or I didn't want to give it to them. I wanted them to realize it. I wanted them to see it and understand it and know that they have the power already within them. All they have to do is know how to access it. And I just wanted to teach people how to access it. And I think that is just a small glimpse into, again, how I'm just starting to figure out how to help people do that.
Yeah, it's interesting when you actually have the awareness that you're just kind of breaking through to your own potential.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, here you are so accomplished already, and yet here so new, kind of like
Mhm.
a newborn baby who's just kind of realizing, oh my God, I got legs. I can run. Right?
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like that? Like, oh my God, I've come so far, but I have I can do so much. And I guess that would fit right into one of my favorite questions, which is like, what has this journey taught you about yourself?
Oh. It has taught me a lot. It's taught me to trust myself. Um, trust myself even more. Like, when I first came into the 15-day challenge, I already knew. I knew day one, like, this is it. And if I had questioned that, or if I had gone out to Google and been like, let me look up reviews of the 15-day challenge and like read what other people have said, that would have tainted my trust. That would have changed maybe the direction that I decided to go in. Maybe I wouldn't be here.
Mm.
So I think it's a trust in, like, you better than anybody else. You know what you want, you know what you desire, you know what you want to create. And hopefully you know that you're the only one in control of how to make that happen.
I know what you mean with that, because so often, so many of us look for direction, even more so, even deeper, look for others to tell us how
Mm.
to feel about someone. I mean,
Mhm.
the easiest example is John, he is such an asshole, right? And you hear that and almost adopt that feeling without even meeting John.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he is such an asshole. Amy said so. And then you meet John, and it's like, shit, I
I
like this.
like that.
I like John. John's a nice guy.
Yeah.
And here I have this conflict, because so for so much of my life I've adopted other people's opinions, feelings. I've asked them to tell me how to feel about people, places, and things. And here we are starting a journey of being a business owner, of being the boss, of being the buck stops with you, even if you're the only employee of your business right now. And there is no leader in the world of anything that's worth a damn who relies on other people to tell them how to think and feel. A
True.
leader relies on people for insight, for opinions, to stay open-minded, to learn from, but not to be a puppet for, right? We make fun of. You ever heard somebody say that about a president? Well,
No.
he's just a puppet, right?
Never.
Right, right. I mean, every president is said he's just a puppet. He's just a front man, right? And the truth is that when we come into this process, the best thing we can ever do for ourselves is actually experience it and form our own opinion. Actually go through it. I love what you said. Tune it out. I don't need to know what other people thought. I am in control of my wallet. I am in control of whether I get scammed or not. Everybody's like, well, I don't want to get scammed. Well, hey, I want to introduce everybody to something. This is called your wallet. Okay. And this is probably where the majority of you keep your credit card, right? That little thing that you type in when you want to buy something, and also that you give to people when there's something that's really, really enticing, right? Like the person says that, well, if you just, go over here and buy Bitcoin and send it to me, I'm going to manage it for you. And I'm going to send you back triple your investment in 7 days. And you're like, okay, right? Well, hey, guess what? You're in control of typing those numbers. Nobody can make your wallet come up out of your pocket and just enter into the computer and start giving money away. But we act like it can because I think so many of us feel so out of control and are so used to other people telling us what to do and how to feel that you're right. We have lost trust in ourselves. And that is one of the greatest gifts. And I'm so glad that you're feeling that and experiencing that, because once we do begin to trust ourselves and have a couple of positive experiences from actually making a decision, and then even if it didn't turn out the way that we wanted it, being proud that we made it. It was kind of like somebody who I heard on Wake Up Legendary a while back who said, yeah, I'm having some problems in this business, but they're my problems. They're my problems. They're not somebody else's problems. They're not my boss's problems who gave them to me. They're not, Sally in the next cubicle over. They're my problems. I'm solving them. I'm moving through them. I'm figuring out ways to overcome them. And even if I haven't overcome something yet, it's still my challenge. It's my journey, right? It's my learning lesson. I feel like I'm blazing a path. And isn't that the real payoff, Gwen? I mean, yes, the money's great, but isn't it also the confidence and the self-esteem that we build through this process? Because I've done the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can't even count on my hands how many quote unquote failures I've had, how many things I've tried that didn't work out the way that I expected them to. And if I had stopped there because, I did one thing that didn't work out, I wouldn't have found myself here. Like everything that we do is just another step to get us closer to the things that we want to create, to the life that we want to design, as long as we're taking the steps. If you're just sitting back and you're being complacent, you're like, this is it. Well, that's all that you're going to get. You're not going to get any further.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing to make your own decisions. It's what we all want, but we're so afraid of it for some reason. We all want to be the boss, but then we're afraid of taking the responsibility because, well, oh my gosh, maybe I'm going to get made fun of, or, it's going to be my fault if it fails. And, that's just, I don't know how to make the big bucks and be the big boss and have the great rewards and celebration unless you're willing to also take the responsibility for when things go wrong. One of the coolest feelings that I've had in my journey is when something does go wrong, though, to totally own it and step up to the plate. And people are so respectful. They admire that so much. And I think that's one of the things that makes success and entrepreneurship easier than what people think, is that it's not about your failures. It's about how you handle them. Yeah. And so if you learn how to handle things, which is with honesty and personal responsibility, taking ownership, you can never, ever make an ass out of yourself. Because as soon as you fail, you totally redeem yourself with humility and ownership. Does that resonate?
100%. 100. You have to be able to admit, I was wrong. I was wrong about this. And so here's what I learned. And here's how I'm going to take that into the future and change how I, do X, Y, and Z. I think it's the fear of being judged by other people. I think we're just so consumed thinking that everyone's watching our every move when they're really not. But because we're out there scrolling and watching everyone else, we just think all the eyeballs are on us all the time. But there's millions of people out there no one's watching your every move. And if they are, let them. Good on them. Like, again, they don't pay your bills.
It's not narcissistic. It's self-absorbed, though, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we throw some terms around way too loosely, and it can be very irresponsible. You see a lot of people online who throw, real serious terms, and sometimes we label ourselves like, "Am I being narcissistic?" No, you're not. You're just being self-absorbed, right? And that's a quality that we all have. Because it's part of our survival skill is to be totally self-absorbed, to perseverance is the first law of nature. Like, you actually have to survive, in your own survival is the most important thing to you and to the world. And that's just how humans are made. It's how all animals and species are made. So it's okay to be focused on yourself preservation. It's also a fact and true in the same sentence that if you're in your head, you're dead. Here's how I like to look at it. It's a bad neighborhood up here. I try not to go in there without the buddy system. If I'm spending too much time thinking, right, and looking and analyzing myself, come on. I'm not a football player. I don't need to watch the tape. I was there. I said it. I edited it. I posted it. Let's move the hell on. A lot of times we post something and then it's got 10 views, 9 of which are us. The other one is our mother. And it's like, look, move on to the next piece of content, move on to the next thing, post it and walk away from it. Because in not only 6 months is it not going to matter, but literally in 6 hours, it's not going to matter. People have this going for them. It's called scoliosis. It's the thumb. It's moving. If they retain only 50% of what a damn doctor says to them, they are retaining 5% of what you say to them, if that.
Yeah.
You're just not that big of a deal. You're not, and I'm not, and none of us are. It's like I believe this way. The majority of our luck, our success online is the luck of being there at the right place and the right time. Because the majority, and this is also what people don't realize, the majority of your customers who are going to buy from you right now, if you get started, are people who are already interested in looking for it. The algorithm is already putting that it's not like you need to warm them up. You're like, okay, here, let's start from scratch in every video and explain you're just getting to the party. They're not. So if you have a piece of content that happens because you posted it, because you executed it, you got it up on the internet, and it came in front of them. You said the right thing at the right time. It's more the right time than it is the right thing that you said. And boom, they click your link. It gets tracked to you. If you're doing affiliate marketing or even selling your own, it gets tracked to you, and you make a sale. You get a commission.
Yeah.
Half of the battle is being there. But Gwen, isn't that the truth in everything? Most of us find mates because, he was there. It's not like we're all out here, traveling the world, seeking and searching, and oh my God, now I found. No, that's not how life works. Part of it, half of the battle is just being in the right place at the right time. Do you agree with this?
Yeah, the thing that I'm thinking about is we're trying to book a trip for my 40th birthday, and I've been stalking airline flights and I was thinking about the luck of knowing, some people are out there so good at finding a flight on sale. And I was thinking, how do they know when those flights come up? How do they find the sale? Because they put themselves in the places where they're going to find the flights on sale. They're literally in the space all the time doing research. So the only way that you're going to get your content in front of someone with the luck of the algorithm getting it in front of the person who's already looking is just to be in the place where your content gets put in front of other people. You can't not produce something and then expect your stuff to land. You have to just be in it and doing it.
Yeah.
And that's probably the hardest part for so many, is getting started. I want to finish the blueprints before I start. No, start learning, go, right? So anyway, you have to be in the space if you want your stuff to be in the space.
Yeah. It's got to be out there. That means you can't just have created a profile. You got to be creating bad videos,
Right.
shitty videos.
Yeah.
Right. They're all going to be shitty. You're not going to let, you have to just realize you're not going to like your stuff for a long time. I mean, there might be like 1 or 2% of anything you ever create you're going to like love and like be like, oh my God, that's a real work of art. Everything else is going to be cringe. But that's true with all actors, people who create things. If you listen to, I used to listen to some of those interviews with that guy. I forget what it was called, but the Actor Studio or something like that, where the guy would bring in the actors and interview them in front of that big, it was at some college, but he would interview them. He was a real like old kind of professor.
Yeah,
like,
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking, real kind of I don't even know how to describe him, but just like this total like, old like acting nerdy professor type guy. But he would get all of the biggest actors and do an interview. And I'll never forget watching, don't even know who it was, but actor after actor say, yeah, I don't watch my stuff. Robert Lipton, is that who it was? Inside the Actor Studio. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Kathy. Yeah, Inside the Actor Studio. And actor after actor, icon. I'm talking about the biggest names in the game. Yeah, he'd ask about specific videos. He'd ask about this or movies. Yeah, I don't watch my stuff. I don't like the way I look. So it's not just you. It's freaking Brad Pitt. It's Julia Roberts. It's George Clooney. It's Jennifer Aniston. It's the biggest names. And that's one of the things that I think we can find helpful is when we realize that I'm feeling the same stuff that every other successful person felt at the beginning. I'm feeling that awkwardness, looking stupid, this is not just me who's having a unique experience and then I attach a meaning. This is why I am not going to be successful. No, attach a more true, empowering meaning, which is, oh yeah, here's that feeling. I'm not liking my stuff, but you know what? Who does like their stuff? Nobody likes watching themselves, right? And so I'm going to keep going despite myself, despite my own limiting beliefs. And that's how you create success. I mean, then you look back like you probably are at this point in your career. And what are you, 18 months in, 2 years in, what, not even?
8 months.
Unfrickin' believable. We're going to end on that note, Gwen. It was so good to reconnect with you and have another conversation. And I hope that you get a chance to, go back through and see all of those amazing comments. And let's drop her some more love. We got the greatest audience here of the most supportive people, and they show so much love. But it's also because you show so much love and so much value every time you talk. People are also talking about the little, coffee with Gwen videos and lives and stuff that you're doing. So, I mean, you're pouring a lot out into people, and people are getting a lot out of your work. So it is just the beginning for you. I know that. And I can't wait to continue to see you grow. So thanks for your time once again. Your third Wake Up Legendary, Gwen. Financially Free with Gwen over on Instagram. Go and find her, follow her, learn from her. And my best to you, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
All right, my friends. You can find her, as I said, over on Instagram, Financially Free with Gwen, Gwen. Everything spelled exactly how it sounds. No dots, periods, no underscores. Financially Free with Gwen. Former doctor of audiology turned digital marketer, successful one at that. 8 months been doing this. Wow. I was pretty shocked by that. I had forgot that she was so new, not even a year into this. My friends, anything is possible. Are you going to get the same results as Gwen? I have no idea. Probably not, right? Probably not. That's okay, though, right? Because you could get better results, but you also are going to have to do the same things that she did. When I was getting clean, and I still hear this all the time, I wanted people's lives. I wanted, I was 24 years old. My life was in shambles. I was addicted. I was, I had no direction in life. And people said to me the most simple yet powerful thing I'd ever heard. Well, if you want what we got, do what we do, Dave. And so if you want what she's got, do what she does. Do what she did. Put one foot in front of the other, get the hell out of your own way, and just put it out there. Tell your story. Give those calls to action. Show up in those email inboxes. Know that if they asked for it, they want it. You're not bothering them. And go back and listen to this episode one more time. We're going to have it up on all the major podcast platforms so you can listen to the audio, okay? And you can really take all that she said in today, 8 months into her journey, third time here on Wake Up Legendary. And she's created a totally new and different life for herself in those 8 months, coming from a career as a doctor of audiology. Wow, anything is possible. And you don't just have to be down and out on your luck with a crappy job rolling out of a trailer park, to want something new in your life. People are coming in from all walks of life, from mainstream America, saying, hey, the plan that was designed for me isn't what I bought. I want a refund, baby. And I want to start and build something on I want to blaze my own path. I want to be my own boss. But just remember, and this is why we do this show, if you want to be your own boss, you got to be ready to pay the cost. And the cost isn't, you don't have to be a martyr, right? You just got to be willing to do the things that we talked about today, which is put forth the effort, put yourself out there, overcome and identify and overcome your limiting beliefs, and then take responsibility when things don't go as planned. That's the most important part. It's not somebody else's fault. It's your responsibility to keep going, to adjust, to learn from the situation. You do that, then we're going to see your life and career take off in similar ways. All right, my friends, get out of here. We'll see you back here tomorrow for another episode. Again, follow Gwen at Financially Free with Gwen over on Instagram. And we will see you back here tomorrow, my friends, for another episode. Stay legendary. Get out of here. Peace.